I'm Marcel, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. We are now entering 2025, and there are lots of people who are doing 25 in 25, so 25 books they want to read in 2025. I am doing two projects about reading. I'm doing Read What You Own. I'm doing a different project about reading through time. But I'm also doing two readathons, sort of year-long readathons, that both have 12 books each. And 12 plus 12 is 24. Add one more and you get 25. So for my 25 and 25, I'm going to present the two year-long readathons that I am going to be a part of. The first readathon I'm going to be a part of is Reading the Globe, initiated by Scala Dalling about the books. Links to her video down below. And they have picked out 12 books that are books from different parts of the world that we are going to read one book for each month. And I am going to just shortly present the book's titles and authors, and then Scally Dalling has a much more in-depth presentations of these books in the videos, and I recommend that you watch them. But the 12 books I'm going to read for my reading challenge for Reading in the Globe is Clean by Alia Trabuco Zaram, Behind the Doors of No Return by David Diop, We Do Not Part by Han Kang, A Sunny Place for Shady People by Mariana Enriquez, Two Trees Make a Forest by Jessica Lee, The Third Love by Hiromi Kawakami, Standing Heavy by Goz, Old Kiln by Jia Pinghua, The Director by Daniel Callum, Ido's Soul by Stella Gaetano, The Understory by Sanet Sungsuk, and The Wind Knows My Name by Isabel Allende. Out of all of these authors, I only have read two of them, Han Kang, which won the Nobel Prize for Literature this year, and Isabel Allende, who's a classic author if you want to read translated fiction. So I'm really looking forward to exploring these 12 books from around the globe. And then I have my second reading challenge, which is in reading the classics by In Search of Wonder. Again, her video is going to be linked down below. And she has a challenge of reading more of the classics and created 12 prompts for 12 books. And I'm going to present my pick for those prompts. She is she's doing a lot of sort of reading the classics. Search and Wonder has done a wonderful job with these prompts, because she's also created things that you could look for sort of upping up the level of them. And she also has 12 challenges that you can do in addition to these reading prompts. I don't know what I am able to do with everything else I'm going to do next year, but I'm going to at least read the 12 books and of the prompt. So for January, her prompt was read a book from your physical TBR, so just a book on your bookshelf. And I also told you that she had sort of these elements that you could pick, and that was it was going to be a physical book, have a male protagonist, and be about winter. So I picked Tove Jansson's Mumindalen Midwinter, which is about Mumin, and who usually hibernates and wakes up from his hibernation and tries to figure out what everyone else is doing in the middle of winter. So I think that's going to be, I love her books, her Moomin books. So that's probably going to be an easy, quick, but fun read to do. We were going to read a Gothic novel, and I picked The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. And I don't have a physical copy of it. And the extra prompts that you could look for were castle and nightmare and skeleton. And I know at least 2 of them are going to be present in the castle of Otranto. Then for March, we have read a children's book. I have picked, and the prompts, or the extra prompts, were siblings, mother, pet, and I read People and Thieves in Kardemommeby by Torbjørn Egner. You can absolutely make an argument that these thieves are siblings, brothers. It's not explicit in the text, but just look at them. Look at them. They have to be brothers. They have to be twins. A mother, we don't have a mother, but we do absolutely have a mother figure, and a pet. And they have absolutely a pet. Not the most common pet, but absolutely a pet. So that is my pick for a children's book. Then we were going to read a memoir, and the extra prompts were art, war, famous person, and I'm going to read a memoir by Gioconda Belli, The Country Under My Skin, a memoir of love and war. She is a famous Nicaraguan author and talks about her turbulent relationship with the government of Nicaragua. So art, war, and famous person is absolutely presented. Then we have reread a favorite. And the extra prompts for that were childhood, high school, and recent history. And I picked The Invisible Child, again by Tove Jansson. This is also a Moomin book. So this is a book that I read in my childhood, but I also reread it in high school because I was writing a text about different ways that people sort of react in a stressful situation. And there are 2 characters here that represented the 2 extremes. So I used them as a way of illustrating 2 different ways that they can act. Then for June, read a book with 500 plus pages. And the extra prompts were female protagonist, a foreign country, and Greek myth. I chose this collection of short stories, The Future is Female, 25 classic science fiction stories by women, from pulp pioneers to Ursula K. Le Guin. Female protagonist is absolutely check, and while because of the nature of science fiction, you can absolutely argue that while it is a country that, well, the US isn't my home country, but it's still a very known country because of a lot of different things. But of course, putting it in a science fiction context makes a known country foreign country. At least I'm going to argue. That's a guess. Then we have read like Jane Austen. So read a book that Jane Austen might have read. And then you had the extra prompts for sense of humor, naval captain, and a letter. I struggled a bit with this one because I couldn't really find a book with a naval captain easily. I think you sort of have to know that it's there. So I picked Evelina by Frances Burney, which is an author that most likely Jane Austen actually would have read, and it's known for its sense of humor. Then read a translated work. I am finally going to read my book of Sir Juana Inés de la Cruz selected works. This is a book that she was a Mexican nun. And that is because translated work, it's language known, language not known, and poetry. And Sor Juan Inés de la Cruz wrote poetry in Spanish, which is a language that I do not know. And that book has been sitting on my shelf way too long. So it's good that I'm finally going to read it. Then for September, we have read a comedy of Shakespeare with the prompts love story, mistaken identity, and a song. And I think they would be much more interesting to figure out if there is a comedy of Shakespeare that doesn't have these three prompts in them. But I have picked the comedy of errors to read for this one. Then we have number 10, October, read a science fiction time travel. October is also Victober, so I have picked a Victorian author, H.G. Wells, The Shapes of Things to Come. Now, the prompts for this one was a sailing vessel, time machine, and mad scientists. None of them actually fit into this book because the book is much more about looking forward and almost predicting the future, but that's a different way of looking at it. And I'm just very quickly, okay, so this book was actually written in 1933. So while H.G. Wells is sort of mostly known as a Victorian author, this specific book isn't actually Victorian, but again, he had been sitting on my bookshelf quite a while. So I am going to read that one because I'm starting to not have H.G. Wells books I have not read. Then we have read an essay or book of essays with the extra prompts nature, education, and philosophy. So I'm going back to, well, the most philosophy that I know of, and that is Plato, The Republic, which is a collection of shorter texts or books that they are called, that I'm now counting as a form of essay collection. So I absolutely think it is, you can actually talk about that, especially regarding philosophy. And for December next year, the prompt is Christmas short stories, a Christmas tree, a Christmas present, and a surprise guest. I have these, and I have read these, and I'm probably then going to read them again. But these are 4 books by Selma Lagerlöf, short stories, and they are all Christmas based. So this is Peace on Earth, The Legend of the Christmas Rose, The Christmas Guest, and The Holy Night. So I am looking forward to reading them again next year. So that was my 12 prompts for reading the classics by In Search of Wonder. So 12 plus 12 is 24. So we're still missing one. So for my bonus prompt, I am going to read Paul Sartre, No Exit, and 3 other plays. I got interested in this one because I watched the TV series The Good Place that lasted for 4 seasons. I think they stopped a few years back now because we're getting old. Time is marching on, and The Good Place is a sort of spoof on No Exit. So I became curious about reading the original play. Are you doing reading the Globe or reading the classics? Are you doing 25 in 25? Are you doing more than 25? Are we going a bit insane with these reading challenges? I don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure. Thank you for listening to me screaming into the void.